Hey guys, and welcome back to your one room schoolhouse. If you are new here, my name is Mary Barfield and I'm a homeschooling mama to a first grader and third grader. And I am so excited to be able to say that officially, because if I posted this video when I plan to, which should be July 22nd, that means we've just finished our first day of school yesterday on July 21st, officially as a first and a third grader. So we are no longer rising first and third graders, we are officially first and third graders. So with that being said, with us starting a new school year, I thought it would be fun to do a whole dedicated video with you guys about what we are doing for our morning time or morning basket. People call it different things. What we are doing during that block of time. Now, this is for us, our enrichment subjects, right? It's not core like language arts or math or history or science or any of that stuff. This is more the enrichment type subjects, more hands-on, things like that. I thought it would be really good to do a more in-depth video. If you've seen my recent videos about my curriculum picks and things like that, you probably have an idea of some of the things we're going to be doing or all of them. But I kind of just did quick flybys on them. This video, I really wanted to get into depth about the different curriculum pieces we've chosen and how we're scheduling them, because I know that's a big one too. I know some families do loop schedules. I know some people do set schedules. Some people do it first thing in the morning. Some people do it right before dinner or at night. So even though it says morning time, it could be a nighttime thing that you do. So I wanted to share with you guys how we are gonna attack it this year, in hopes that it provides you an idea of what would work for you or what might not work for you, right? And help you with scheduling out your morning time or morning basket if you do that. So I think the best way to attack this is actually talk about the schedule as I talk about the curriculum. Like say, hey, Mondays we're gonna do this, Tuesdays, etc. Because I am not somebody who can do a loop schedule. I wish so much that I was, but it just doesn't seem to jive with my brain. Every time I try to sit down and create a loop schedule, my brain goes blah, blah, blah. So for me, we are going to be doing a set schedule. There are some things from our morning time that we will be doing every day. And there are some things that we will technically loop or just do on Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays or stuff like that. Also, I keep saying morning time because last year when we did morning time, it wasn't in a basket, but this year we actually have things in a basket. So I'm wondering if I should call it morning basket. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that here now. Maybe later you'll hear me start referring to it as morning basket. Now, what time of day do we do it? We do not do it first thing in the morning. I tried that last year and it just didn't work for us. We are better off getting our core subjects such as language arts and math done first thing. Get it out of the way. Then after that, after we've gotten all that, the must-haves done, I move into morning time after that. And then my plan is to then have lunch after that, take a little break, maybe do some quiet time, reading, etc. And then we will delve into history and science in the afternoon. I'm trying something different this year. I'll let you know how it goes in my update videos that I'm going to be doing every month for you guys. So without further ado, I've talked about when we're doing it and how we're going to be doing a set schedule. But what are we going to be doing and on what days? Let's talk about that. So first off, let's start with Monday. Well, actually, let's talk about what we're going to be doing every single day starting our morning time off. Now, I have allotted 45 minutes per day to morning time subjects. And the first 15 minutes I've scheduled things that we will be doing every single day, Monday through Friday. So every morning time, we'll start off with us reading one poem from the Ambleside Online Poetry Anthology, Volume 1. I got this off Amazon. Now you can get these poems for free through the Ambleside Online schedule. They have them all linked there if you want to go check them out there. But I personally can't do things on screens. It doesn't jive with my brain, my head, my eyeballs. I need a physical book to hold. I don't even do well reading on my Kindle anymore. Y'all, I'm becoming an old person. But with that being said, when I found out they had anthologies for their poetry, I was like, perfect. So it's less than $10. I scooped it up off of Amazon. And what I love is that this volume 1 follows the year 1 Ambleside Online track. It's all scheduled by month. So January, they give you about 20 poems. February, March, and so on and so forth, and it goes through December. And a lot of these are kind of seasonal. So I've actually decided, instead of starting at the beginning of the book in January, we are going to start in July. And it's so apropos because Christina G. Rossetti is going to be the first poem, and it's Summer Days. And I thought that'd be so funny to read on our first day of school, because it's like we're saying goodbye to summer and saying hello to school. However, it will still be quite hot in North Carolina for a very long time, so it'll feel like summer until about Christmas. But so we're going to read one poem a day from here, and that won't take any time at all. And then we're going to just do a brief discussion. What did you think of it? What do you remember from it? What was your favorite part? And then we're going to move on. So basically, I've decided that we're going to give 5 minutes a day to poem, and it'll probably be less than that. And then after that, for 10 minutes per day, we are going to be doing my favorite, Homeschool Languages Spanish 1. So if you've been around my channel for any amount of time, you know that we are big fans of homeschooling languages, of the company, the quality of materials, the curriculum itself, the family. It's a family-owned homeschooling family that runs this company, the customer service, everything. Cannot say enough great things about it. And even better, and I'll link the playlist down below for you guys because you can go check out the most recent video I did for them, was they actually did an update to Spanish 1. Now, we did Spanish 1, the old version, last year, and we got about 70% of the way through before the update was released, and we were like, ooh, this is too good. I think we need to go back through Spanish 1 again this year. Now, my oldest daughter, she's picking up Spanish like that. She's got it. She really likes languages. And my youngest is too. She started this when she was 4 years old, and she really understands Spanish really well. However, if I ask her, how do you say something back? That's where she kind of falters a little bit. And I think a little bit of that is attention span and maturity for her. So I'm kind of excited that we're going back through level 1 for her, because I think it'll give her that extra, practice to help her ingrain, okay, this is how I say things. I can now understand and speak is what I want to achieve for her this school year. My oldest daughter, it'll just really re-ingrain the vocabulary, the conjugations, things like that for her. I'm not going to go too much into depth about this because I do so many videos on homeschool languages. I'll link that playlist down below. If you want to check them out, go look at those videos. I mean, the curriculum's beautiful, but I like also something that they did with the update is that they broke the lessons down into smaller chunks, which fits our more Charlotte Mason style of doing 10 minutes of foreign language per day. So now I can do a lesson in 10 minutes per day, and that's our plan. So we'll spend 5 minutes reading a poem, talking about it. Then the second thing we'll do for morning time is 10-minute lesson of Spanish. So that's 15 minutes. What are we doing for the next 30 minutes? Well, we will be doing either geography or nature study next. And so the way I have it scheduled, I'm actually going to show you this because I feel like it'll just be easier to go over it. So here you'll see we've talked about we're going to be doing one poem, and then we're doing a lesson of Spanish. Next, we're either going to be doing nature or geography for 15 minutes per day. And that'll either be Burgess Bird Book. We'll be reading either James Herriot, and then on Fridays, we'll either be doing Train the Trail or Seabird or Home Geography or Charlotte Mason. And you're like, what does all that mean? So let me show you. So Burgess Bird, what does that mean? That is from Simple Studies, the Burgess Bird Simple Studies curriculum. It's a year-long curriculum centered around the Burgess Bird Book. I actually purchased this off Living Book Press. I got the PDF version and then printed it off myself. I went ahead and you can kind of see it. I don't want to pull it too much, but the holes, I punched the holes with my Pro Click and I actually sewed them like old-fashioned books are sewn. I can't believe I did this because I think it actually turned out really well. And then I got some bookbinding tape and I bound it with the tape. And I mean, this feels like a legitimate book, and I made it. I'm like so impressed with myself. But I love that their copy has the original color illustrations. If I can find them, there's so many good ones. Look how nice that is. So we're going to be reading through this on Mondays and Tuesdays, following along with this schedule. So this includes a schedule. It includes coloring pages for each of the chapters. So I'm going to sit down. The girls both have coloring books that I printed out from here. They each have their own version of it. And the first book is about like Jenny the Wren, the house wren. So they'll color in the picture while I'm reading the story to them. So that helps keep their hands busy and their minds open and ears open. And then we'll read through the story. On top of that, she also recommends additional books from the library that you can get, picture books to kind of enhance the reading. She also has poetry in here that you can read. that again enhances the lesson. I also purchased binoculars for the girls because they are so into birds right now. We have so many birds that fly around our house, but they're like, Mommy, I can't see it. So I found some really solid ones for under $30 on Amazon, and they're really nice, heavy duty, like good solid binoculars. I'm not afraid to let the girls handle them. Like, I don't think they're gonna break them. So we're gonna be bird watching all year. I also purchased from a company, and I'll link it down below, a bird trifold like laminated heavy duty bird watching like pamphlet that we can either, it's lightweight so we can throw it in our backpack, but right now we have it on our kitchen table because that's where they look out all the windows and they see all the birds. So we'll be bird watching. On top of that, we will be using our nature notebooks and our to-go watercolor palettes. These things are awesome. I've shared about them in other videos, so I'm not going to get into it here for the sake of trying to keep the video kind of short. So we will also be taking the time when the fancy strikes us, when we go nature hiking, or even when we're at home, we're going to be doing some nature notebooking about birds. And then of course, anything else we see in nature. It doesn't just have to be birds. So that's going to be what we're doing for our Burgess Bird Book / nature. But also, I don't know if you remembered in that schedule, I had James Herriot's Treasury for Children scheduled 2 days per week. Now, this will not be something we read every week because there's only 8 stories in here, which means we might do 2 to 3 per term. So there's gonna be quite a few weeks we do not do this, but that just means we're gonna have a shorter morning time, and that's fine. But this book has the sweetest stories in it with the sweetest illustrations. I think my daughters are gonna love it. It's about kittens, dogs, horses, you know, all the good stories. So cows, basically a lot of good farm animals. But I think that they're gonna love this. From what I've already pre-read of it, I've heard great things about it. This is a big hit with a lot of homeschooling families. So I'm quite excited to delve into this with them. So again, Mondays and Tuesdays, we will be doing the Burgess Bird study. And then if we have James Herriot scheduled for the week, we will read that over 2 days because they are kind of longer stories. So we'll read 15 minutes on Wednesday, then 15 minutes on Thursday. So what are we going to do on Fridays for geography? We will be reading at the beginning of the year, starting off with Tree in the Trail by Holling C. Holling. This is very similar to Paddle to the Sea by Holling C. Holling, in that it's geography about the United States, but it's also historical and cultural in nature. We're going to learn about Native Americans as well as history of what was happening. So basically, it's a tree that's on a trail and what happens around it as time goes on. You get the pioneer days, etc. So I think this is going to be a really good read. I am probably going to be doing map work with my kiddos when we read this. We'll do just 1 chapter a week. So that'll carry us through the first half of the school year. And then the second half of the school year, once we are done with Tree in the Trail, we will be reading Seabird by Holling C. Holling. Now this geography, from my understanding, takes us all over the world on a ship. So we will be doing a lot of seafaring in this book. So if you get seasick, be careful. Sorry, that was cheesy. But again, really short, sweet stories, beautiful illustrations. There's geography, there's culture, there's so much that goes into those books. And again, we'll be doing map work with that as well. We are doing geography, for the record, map work through our Story of the World Volume 1 Ancient study. But these are a little bit more near and dear to the heart, not ancient times. So I like incorporating this from Ambleside Online. And then the other 2 books that I will be incorporating from Ambleside Online, but not the schedule, are Home Geography and then Elementary Geography by Charlotte Mason. So this is one I printed from Living Book Press and bound myself. This is one I just got. I had them print and send to me. These soft covers are so nice. I mean, I know they're soft covers, but they're very durable. They're really good stuff. So this is more about geography topics. Here, I'm showing you the content so you can pause and see what's in them. So this is more geographical, like cardinal directions, left, right. Is the globe a sphere, or what kind of shape is it? You know, rivers and mountains and things like that, brooks and such and such. And then Charlotte Mason also has a lot of that as well. Here, I'm going to show you the contents. cardinal directions, things like that. Some of the stuff my kids already know, but these chapters are so quick to read. I'm still probably gonna read it to them because they're really well done. I am not following any specific schedule with these two. It might take us 2 years to read through them, but my plan is to just read for like 15 minutes once a day. Maybe on the days that we don't do James Harriet, maybe bring these out and see how long it takes us to get through them. If it takes a whole year, great. If it takes 2, that's great too. No big deal. But I think these have really good information in them, and I can't wait to read them with my girls. Okay, looking back at the schedule, we've talked about things we will do daily, which are Spanish and poetry. Then we talked about things that we would do next, kind of in that same time block for 15 minutes, which was nature study and geography. So what's after that? Things I consider like the riches, right? So that means we're doing something different every day. So let's talk about what we're doing every day. So on Mondays, we will do the first portion of Blossom and Root Level 0 Art. Now, I did a whole video on this. I'm going to link it down for you guys below. I'm not going to go into depth about this, but just to let you know, the 3 components we will be doing from this program are art study, music study, so composer, and then an art activity weekly, just so you know. So on Mondays, we will do the art study from here. After that, we will then do our health. And so what we're doing for health this year, and I originally was only going to do this with my oldest daughter, but then I realized my youngest daughter could benefit from this so much. So even though they say 8 years and over, and she's going to be 6, there's still so much information in here that is so pertinent to her right now with her big emotions and good hygiene and brushing your teeth and washing your hair properly and all that good stuff. So we're not following any type of schedule or any kind of curriculum with this. We're just going to be reading first through the feelings book because I think this is the most time-sensitive one for us. We're dealing with big emotions lately, and if you know, you know. If you're a mom or a dad, you know what's happening right now if you've got little girls. But here's the table of contents. For the most part, all of this will be pertinent to my kiddos. Talking about big emotions, why do you feel this way, how to manage it, positive feelings versus being anxious or jealous or scared or lonely or things like that, and then like how most people have a voice in their head and you know the good and the bad of that, etc. And then once we're done with that, we will read through the Care and Keeping of You, which this is more actual hygiene. So for this one, there's going to be a lot of topics that I am going to excuse my youngest daughter from because it's just not age appropriate yet. And there's actually going to be some in here that I don't cover with my oldest daughter even quite yet. You know, we're just not quite there. But here's the table of so basically, it's a lot of hygiene. It's about fitness, nutrition. Those are the things that we're going to be really hitting because some of this we're just not quite ready to. When they're a little older, it'll make more sense. So that's what we're going to be doing on Mondays. Then on Tuesdays, the only thing we will be adding on to poetry, Spanish, and our Burgess Bird is going to be the art activity for the week from Blossom and Root. That'll be it. We'll just do art that day. Then on Wednesdays, the only thing we'll be adding is then the composer study. So it's pretty light. I know it seems like a lot, but each day is really not going to take that long, I promise. On Thursdays, we will be doing our handicraft for the week. So the first term, we are going to be doing paper sloyd, which is basically paper folding. And I know that sounds really weird, but there's a lot of benefit to it. There's a lot of geometry in here. I'm trying to figure out a way to, there's a lot of geometry, shape, spatial awareness, hand technique, things like that. So the cool thing about paper sloyd is it actually has 3 years worth of lessons in here. I didn't realize it until I got the book myself. So you'll see here, they have 3rd year models, 2nd year models, and then 1st year models. And they have about, I think it's 14 per year that you would do it. So we are going to basically do all of the year 1 models during the first term of this school year. We're going to basically do 1 per week, maybe a few weeks we'll do 2. Sorry about the dogs. And then after that, we will then do brushwork for the next 2 terms for the rest of the school year, and that will be what we do for our handicrafts. Now, for paper sloyd the following year, what I plan to do is then year 2 and year 3 models all next year. So for brushwork, I actually printed this off for free off the public domain. You can purchase this though, already printed and beautifully bound through Living Book Press. I think Yesterday's Classic also prints it. A few places print it, but I do have a 10% off code for Living Book Press. So I'll link that down below if you want to take advantage of that. You can do the PDF copy like I do and print it yourself, or you can get it nicely bound soft, or I don't know if they do a hard cover for this one, but I knew they do the soft cover. But this is basically going to be just brushwork, what it sounds like. We are going to be working on our brush skills for the last 2/3 of the school year, because we do a lot of watercoloring with our nature notebooking, with our notebooking in general for history and all the other things that we do. So I thought that that would be a good one for us to hone our skills on for this school year. So Thursdays, we will do one lesson of this depending on what term we are doing. And then just to finish up on Thursdays, we will be following the Ambleside Online Year 1 folk song schedule. And I have these all printed out in the back of this, and I put it all together. This is basically the lyrics for the folk songs we're gonna be doing, and we do one per month. I did add one for August because they didn't have a folk song for August, and I added in the Star Spangled Banner. So we're gonna go over that once per week for 4 weeks, and hopefully they'll remember and learn it. My girls really loved folk songs last year from Ambleside Online, so they were a huge hit, so I think they'll be a big hit this year as well. All right, last but not least, we are doing Friday. So Friday, again, we'll start with a poem. We will do a 10-minute lesson with Spanish. And the last thing we will do is read 1 to 2 stories from the Jesus Storybook Bible. This is a kid's version, basically, of the Bible, of the major stories from the Bible. It's got really good illustrations. The language is a little bit easier for kids to understand. We are, for all intents and purposes, a secular family, but I do think it's very important for my kiddos to know the stories of the Bible. I went to Catholic school my entire life, so I'm very well versed in them. And if we look at it, the percentage of families in America that are Christian, it's astounding. So it's very important, I think, from a cultural perspective, from a pop culture perspective, for my kiddos to know these stories. But also, we are studying ancient history this year, so I thought this was a really perfect time to bring in stories from the Bible for them to learn about them. So that's it, guys. That is everything we are doing for morning time. Again, I know some families loop their schedule. I feel like scheduling it out in a way that it's set for me to kind of check the box, and I know we're gonna hit X, Y, and Z every week makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. If this at any point doesn't work for us, we will ultimately edit the schedule and turn it into a loop schedule. But so far, I think this is gonna work better for us. If you have any questions about anything that we went over in this video, leave those down in the comments. You know I'm more than happy to answer your questions. If you are new to my channel, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, because I know what kind of content to continue to produce for you guys. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.